The Gilded Age Season 2 Episode 6 has recently been released, and Ada's happiness turned into sadness way quicker than I imagined. I'm afraid Luke Forte will not have a long life. This episode also opened up new possibilities for me to hate cousin Dashiell, with his manipulative and thoughtless public proposal that pushed Marion into a corner. Mr. Fortune is another man I am beginning to hate as he's not leaving Peggy alone even though she's trying to set some boundaries. And Mr. Russell has just unlocked the doors of my endless love and admiration. He's not a cruel robber baron after all. I have so many things to talk about, including some interesting theories about Oscar getting scammed, but Luke Forte saving the day. Let's do a review of every major storyline. Emphasis on education. First of all, I love the fact that this episode focused on education as a social issue. Marion was teaching basic skills to poor students. Peggy and her mother were trying to find ways to keep colored schools open. Jack's patent was refused because he didn't have certifications, aka required education. George wondered if the factory town had schools because he saw the kids at home while he was visiting Henderson's home. Education was a theme throughout the episode, and I loved how they played it out. George's good heart. Speaking of George, his realization in this episode was quite lovely. Some may think this virtuous robber baron portrayal can be considered as glorifying the rich, but I think it shows the moral complexity of George's character. Before he visited the town, he thought he was doing the right thing for his workers because he was giving all of them employment. The visit made him snap into reality. I think now he will fire Clay because of how extreme his views are. My theory is George will make Watson his new secretary because Watson already has prior business experience and knows Mr. Russell very well. George also knows Watson's secret, so I thought he would want to help Watson in some way. This could be it. Oscar's in a Ponzi scheme. I told you that Oscar was being scammed. This episode made me more sure that this is actually what's happening. Mr. Crowther, the man at the business establishment, paid Oscar a high sum with the money that came from new investors. Seeing that the amount of money, Oscar was tempted to invest more money, which he did. It's a literal Ponzi scheme. Now, you know what will happen? Maud Beaton is in on it, and she left town in this episode. When Oscar said he would like to see her when she's back, her response was, "I like to think so." She's not coming back. She's probably going to another town to find a new rich gentleman to get money off of. I don't even know if she's the real Maud Beaton. We never saw her family. Oscar has now invested a lot of money and he will lose it. What do you think about Oscar's storyline? Tell me in the comments. Luke Forte is dying. Well, I knew Ada's happiness wouldn't last long. Things were happening too fast. They are waiting for a miracle to happen, but he will die, I'm sure of it. But he may leave a fortune to Ada. I feel like he's living below his means because he's a reverend, but the money he leaves for Ada will save the Van Ryn family. That's my theory. Dashiell, master of assholes. Before episode 6, I only hated Dashiell because he was letting his daughter act like Marion was her mother. But in this one, I have 100 reasons to hate him. First of all, what's that comment about teaching not really being a job for Marion? He outright disrespected something that Marion loves doing. What's more ridiculous is that he never thought to talk about marriage with Marion. He just assumed Marion wanted to marry him. Or maybe this was him manipulating Marion with a public proposal, cornering her into saying yes because he knows what kind of a girl Marion is. She wouldn't embarrass him in front of everyone, especially when his daughter was looking with hopeful eyes. That proposal was just so cringe and embarrassing. I felt so bad for Marion. I think she will get out of this in the end, probably at the end of the season because she's not in love with him. It's so apparent. Larry is now slowly taken by her and this will grow into something bigger. Fingers crossed. The Upper War proceeds. I am not surprised Turner is now sporting the Met, but she was really petty in taking Bertha's box. Really good move. But I also love the fact that George is moving the worlds behind Bertha just to make her happy. But if you remember, Bertha made George promise that there would no longer be secrets in their marriage after that Turner fiasco. George is now keeping too many secrets from her. He first paid for the Met behind Bertha's back. He's now asking for the box. Even though he's doing this to make Bertha happy, she will be bothered by the secrecy. More problems for the Russells, I guess. Jack the Inventor. I love the storylines of the household staff this week, even though it meant fewer Bertha scenes. The fact that everyone supported Jack and his application except Miss Armstrong, who can go to hell at this point, was amazing. I also like that Bannister and Church are now on good terms. Bridget and Adelheid are both possible love interests for Jack, but I feel like he will choose Bridget. In their conversations, Adelheid focused more on herself rather than supporting Jack's application, but Bridget was more encouraging with Jack. I approve of this relationship actually. Peggy is not fortunate. Mr. Fortune should take a step back. It was confirmed that he is actually married, just like in real life. So he's now being bad, ignoring Peggy's attempts to remain away from each other. I feel like he will make more moves in the remaining episodes, but Peggy will have to leave her job. That's all I have to say about this episode. I enjoyed it very much. Tell me what you thought about it in the comments below. Don't forget to like and share this video. Subscribe to next season for more videos like this. See you soon!